What's up everyone, Kawaii Crew here to react to episode 2 of Grisaia Phantom Trigger. Now, before I get started with this live reaction, for those of you who are new to my channel and are not familiar with the videos I've done in the past, I am a huge Grisaia fan. I have played through every single one of the Grisaia Phantom Trigger visual novels. So I am very familiar with the source material. And that means that throughout this live reaction, I will be doing a lot of comparisons between the anime and the source material. So if that's not really your thing, if you're hoping for like an anime-only perspective on the anime series, you're probably going to be disappointed. And if that's not really your thing, then I'm sorry. I'm sorry to disappoint you. But however, I'll try to save most of those comparisons and discussions for after the live reaction. And I'll try to dedicate most of the live reaction to just, my overall first impressions on the episode itself. And so, yeah. I know that, and I know for those who aren't new to my channel, for those of my subscribers, this is probably going to be this is a bit different from what I usually do, because usually I do a recap on the last episode that I reacted to before I go on with live reaction. But it is what it is. But yeah, other than that, without further ado, let's just get on to it. Alright everyone, here we go, episode 2 of Grisaia Phantom Trigger. Let's go! We got Chris's past. Oh man, I was so worried. I was so worried that this anime would skip it, since it wasn't shown in the first episode. Oh, there it is. The boat allegory. Oh. Shows all those a lot of other people on the boat too. Oh man. Usually I skip the OP during the situation. But, and I know I probably should say this till the end of the live reaction, but you know what, I'm just gonna talk about it right now while the OP's playing. Even though, like I said, I should usually say these type of thoughts for the end of the live reaction, but whatever. But yeah, like I said, really glad that we got Chris's past. Although I still kind of would prefer if we got it the first episode, but it is what it is. But yeah, Chris's past is just so integral to her character, especially during Volume 4. And, you know, because it explains her personality, why she does what she does, her thoughts, the thoughts of her current self, and all that. I think one of the things I find most interesting about the anime adaptation of her past is that, okay, well, before we get to the rest of the video, but yeah, one thing I find very interesting about her past is that in the anime adaptation is that in the anime, she said that her father was a kind and ideal man, but she just can never open up to him. This is quite different from the visual novel, where she said that she pretty much hates her father, but she acts grateful to him for appearance's sake, you know, just to make her mom happy. And I think that's very interesting. That's a very interesting change, or like interpretation, because I feel like those two sentiments are pretty different from each other. Like, it's a difference between, you know, still thinking your father is a kind and ideal man, but you can never open up to him, and that's as opposed to like outright hating him. As for the rest of my thoughts on Chris's past, I will save that for the end of the live reaction. TFA, yep. Oh, that is a much different painting than the visual novel. Oh shit. Oh my. This fucking guy. Father. Ladies and gentlemen, you're about to see why this dude wins the Father of the Year award. Oh, did I say Father of the Year award? I mean, Worst Father of the Year award. A bunker buster. The good old Megami and Maki feud. Oh, that must be the... Yeah, there's Taiga. And those terrorists got the nerve gas ready. Hey, here we go. Chris with the diehard strat. Going through the vents. What to do? What to do? That's right, Arasaka was planning on taking matters into her own hands. It's go time. One thing they forgot to mention is Maki reminding Gumi that, since they went through all the trouble of rescuing her, it'll be a shame if she were to kick the bucket in this mission. So that's another reason why she suggested that Megumi shouldn't go. Also, I think there's a bit of a translation error when it comes to subtitles. Because earlier, when Megami mentions her blazer, it's spelled B-L-A-Z-R. With lowercase. As in, like, you know, maybe like a blazer that you wear. But that's not true. That's not the blazer that she's talking about. The blazer she's referring to is her sniper rifle. The R93 Blazer. And that's spelled B-L-A-S-E-R. So, yeah, I think that's important to point that out because, yeah, I don't think there's a lot of people watching this who are gun nerds and I don't think there's a lot of people that know what the Blazer sniper rifle is. They might think, oh, hey, what is her Blazer doing in a gun shop? Wait, 2 magazines? Oh. There she is. Oh my god. Yo! Okay. I don't remember her mentioning her planting. I'll save that for later. is where it's gonna end. Yeah, so damn. The balls on Taiga, man. Like, imagine being a kid as young as her being put in this type of situation. Oh! Okay, I see them trying to build suspense. Damn, that is a long-ass PV. Anyways, alright, well, that was episode 2 of Grisaia Phantom Trigger. But yeah, overall, even though they did rush some stuff, obvious, because, I think that's a given from Grisaia Phantom Trigger adaptation at this point. It's actually not as fast-paced as I thought it was going to be. Yeah, because I thought they were gonna. I was afraid they were gonna rush through like the entire, rest of Volume 4 in this episode. But luckily, that is not the case. So it looks like in the next episode, that's where they're gonna end things off. And oh man, and that means that we might get an entire episode dedicated to action, with involving every single one of Class A. And oh my god, I am so excited for that. Oh my god, if that's the case, I am so excited for that. 24 minutes of just straight up action. Oh man, I'm just straight up Class A kicking terrorist ass. Let's fucking go, man. That's what I want to see. That's what I want to fucking see. But yeah, whole lot of shit I want to talk about. So because there's so much I want to talk about, I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna quickly skip around on the playback, on the episode, and just go through, and just slowly kind of go through. Slowly, or I guess quick, yeah, just kind of skim and then go through all the things that I wanna, all the scenes, all the moments I want to talk about. Just by clicking around and stuff. So, first of all, Chris's past. Really glad they put this in. I already talked about her feelings. Her feelings about her father and all that. Yeah, we got the terrorist attack. Oh yeah, the boat allegory. I think them fight. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, finding her and Chris's dead body, that happened after the whole boat allegory. Now I always liked the boat allegory in Volume 4 because boats have been in multiple cultures. They've always been associated with death and the afterlife. What I mean by that is when you look at, if you go back in history and when you look at, Viking funerals, for example, when it comes to Viking funerals, for those who don't know, that's when Vikings, they would place the dead on a boat, they would light the corpse on fire, and they would cast the boat off into the sea. And we also see, boats in Greek mythology with Charon, when he would ferry the dead across the river Styx into the afterlife. So I'm pretty sure, I'm almost certain that's why that's at least one of the reasons why they use um, the boat allegory in this scene, because in this dream sequence, or I guess, we see Chris's mom. She's in a boat full of flowers, and she is sailing off into the distance, which clearly to me means, she's going off into the afterlife. And she's pushing Chris away because, she doesn't want to join. She wants Chris to live. She doesn't want her to join up with her in the afterlife. Now, what I also like about this scene is that I think there's more than one interpretation to the boat allegory. Because I think before Chris met Taiga, I think her being washed up in the sea I think it relates to her, like, wondering why she was the one that lived. It relates to her, wondering, like, maybe she should have been the one that died during that terrorist attack. She should have died along with her mother. It relates to her thinking that I don't think it touched it up as much. I don't think they touched up on it as much in the anime. But in the visual novel, Chris said that she always thought that, her being a heroic sacrifice is a selfish act. Because it leaves, for the one you saved, because it kind of disregards, like, the wants and needs of those you saved. And it kind of shackles the one you saved with guilt and all of that, and it puts them with a lot of pressure, because now they gotta live up to a lot of expectations, or else it'll seem like the sacrifice was all for nothing. And here we see Chris, being caught up in the waves, lost at sea, and all that. And I think it relates to her theory of Chris's mom's heroic sacrifice being a selfish act. Because the sea, I think in this instance represents, her life after her mom died, because it's been quite turbulent. Especially considering, her life once she joined Sword and all that. Fighting terrorists, engaging in violence, being the government's lapdog, basically. Fighting in miniature wars, basically. So yeah. Also, in the anime adaptation, we see Chris's mom actually grabbing her hand, rescuing her from, like, pulling her up to, pulling her up out of the water, but not putting her on the boat. And yeah, that wasn't in the visual novel. In the visual novel, I think Chris just resurfaced, and then she saw her mom, who just looks at her from the boat. So yeah, I think that's an interesting detail that they added in the anime. And yeah, in the anime, they showed Chris's mom holding on to her. And that's how she rescued Chris from the blast. Now this is a really big this is another really big detail when it comes to Chris's past. Because look at the way she's holding on to Chris. Doesn't that position look familiar? That's the same position. That's the same way that Chris was holding on to Taiga back in the first episode, when she was after she woke up and Chris was trying to comfort her and all that. Now I have no doubt in my mind that this is the reason that she was holding on to Taiga that way. Because I think to Chris, this is like the ultimate form of motherly love. Like, this is one of the best ways a mother can show affection for her child. And that might be the only form of motherly love that she knows. Because, you know, she didn't really know her mom for all that, for a while, for a long time. Yeah, skipping ahead to the painting that contains the virus. Yeah, like I said, this painting is much different from the painting we got in the visual novel. This is a very interesting change that we got going on here. Because in the visual novel, it was just a simple landscape painting. With like a blue sky and like a sunset and all that. Here, yeah, this is much different. Because we got like a woman with like, you know, she's surrounded by red stuff. Which I guess is supposed to be the blood. See, in the visual novel, the paint, there was another, I think there was supposed to be like another painting like underneath a traditional landscape painting. And that's where the blood was. But here, it seems to be more out in the open in terms like the red that's being used. Also, see, what they didn't mention in the anime was that the artist, the original artist of the painting, was infected with the plague. And that's where the virus came about. The virus didn't exactly, you know, just pop up out of nowhere. The artist was infected with the plague. That got into the painting. Also, it was located in his blood. And that's how the virus came to be. But what wasn't included in the visual novel, and this is like an anime original change, is that the whole painter having disciples thing. Yeah, that wasn't included in the that wasn't in the visual novel. There was no mention of the painter having any disciples. So I think honestly that is a very interesting change that the anime made. Honestly, looking back at it now, I think this version kind of makes more sense. Because in the visual novel, it was stated that the whole reason why the virus was able to survive for so long is because the virus was like eating the painting. The virus was like eating the paint, I think. And that was how it was able to survive for centuries. But I think this method makes more sense because if there was multiple people using their blood to feed the virus over centuries, over years, decades, centuries, then I think that makes more sense than, say, just a virus eating the painting itself. Because I don't know if it's possible for a virus to survive by eating paint and canvas and all that. So yeah, honestly, I think that's a very interesting change that the anime made. And honestly, I kind of like that. Yeah. Taiga's father. Okay, couple things I want to say about Taiga's father. First of all, I think his voice is different than I think his voice is different than back in the visual novel. It might have been a different VA. Because I could have sworn his voice in the visual novel was a bit more annoying. Was a bit more irritating. Second of all, yeah, it wasn't a simple airstrike that he wanted to be placed on the school. It was a fucking nuke. It was a straight up nuke So basically, what Taiga's father, I think Natsuki Sengoku, basically what he wanted to do was, he wanted to drop a fucking nuke on the university, and then, yeah, without any regard for the lives of all the civilians in the area, and especially not for the life of his own daughter. And he would be like, and yeah, because that's how he felt like, that'll prevent the virus from spreading to the rest of the world. And his thinking is that if the nuke was dropped, that will gain sympathy from the rest of the world, from all the other nations, and they'll send their support to Japan, and they'll gain a lot. They'll gain a lot from of benefit from the generosity of other countries, and that'll help them, I guess, rebuild. So, yeah, basically, Taiga's father wants to bomb Japan into the Stone Age to keep the virus from spreading. Even if it meant sacrificing the lives of dozens, if not hundreds, of civilians, including his own daughter. And that's why I said that Taiga's father basically wins the Worst Father of the Year award. And yeah, in general, he was just he was just so irritating in the visual novel. The anime doesn't do injustice when it doesn't fully show how much of an arrogant prick this dude is. So yeah. I think there's another interesting choice that they decided to change it from a nuke to just an airstrike. But I guess a nuke can be considered an airstrike, since it's, I guess a nuke is dropped from a plane. Yeah, they use a bunker buster or an incendiary bomb. Yeah, nothing they can do. Blah blah blah. Yep, Chris went off on her own. Oh yeah, the terrorists weren't wearing masks in the anime. Not in the anime, in the visual novel. In the visual novel, they didn't exactly have coordinated outfits. They were just weird-looking dudes with, wearing body armor and stuff. Yeah, that's fucking... Well, I guess they gotta pay homage to the roots somehow. Add a little bit of fan service. Also, the classroom wasn't as dark in the visual novel. Oh yeah, when it comes to Arasaka trying to actually, take matters into her own hands, in the visual novel, there was this chibi illustration where it showed all the girls on top of Arasaka trying to restrain her. Also, the reason why she wanted to why she was acting erratically is because apparently Murasaki gave her a ninja pill, and she started acting loopy. Also, what wasn't included in the anime is that Murasaki had to tie her up. She had to tie Miss Arasaka so she wouldn't do anything rash. But yeah, and here it was just two people, just Rena and Megami restraining Arisaka. But yeah, going through, yeah, we got the scene where they're arming up. I don't think there's really much to add here. It wasn't one for one from the visual to the visual novel, but yeah, I'm not sure. I think this one was, I think this one was still fairly faithful. Yep. Okay. So let's go. Hey, let's just get over to, yeah, the rescue. Okay, so let's talk about Chris's plan. Her going in, fighting the terrorists. So, in the visual novel, her plan was basically to place a Semtex under the floor that the hostages are sitting on. Detonate the Semtex so that the hostages will fall to the floor, to the room under where they're located. So like the next floor down. And when the hostages safely land on the next floor down, Chris would go in and then shoot the captors. Now, what makes this different from the visual novel? Now, what makes the anime version different is that, first of all, Chris did not have much ammo. Chris was not carrying this much ammunition. She only had one. In the anime, she said she was carrying like 2 magazines. In the visual novel, she only had 1, and that was a magazine already loaded into her gun, which means that she only had like 6 bullets. Also, there wasn't as much terrorists guarding the hostages. There was only like 2. So yeah, Chris was only supposed to dispose of like 2 terrorists. In the anime, she went full John Wick and then like killed like a half a dozen terrorists, like 6 to like 8 terrorists. So yeah, that was like that was another interesting choice. Honestly, I think I like the anime adaptation as well. I think that's another thing the anime did better. But yeah, that's certainly an interesting choice. Another difference between the anime and the visual novel is that in the anime, she put the Semtex on the wall. Now, I don't think I might need to watch through this scene fully again. Yeah, see, okay, this is the part that doesn't make sense to me. Because if she put the Semtex on the wall, then why is there a hole on the ceiling? Because in the visual novel, it makes more sense because if Chris put the Semtex under the hostages and they fell down to the floor below them, and then if Chris jumped down to check on Taiga's condition, then that would make more sense as to how the terrorists would know, like, where the hostages are, because they could just look through the big ass hole that Chris made where the hostages were. But here, where did this hole come from if there was no Semtex below the hostages? If there was only Semtex on the wall? I guess the blasts and the shrapnel somehow made a small hole in the ceiling. I'm not sure. Or I guess maybe Chris put Semtex on the floor above them. I don't know. Also, yeah, let's talk about the ending of this episode. Yeah, Taiga holding the gun trying to defend Chris, that was in the anime. That was in the visual novel. But what wasn't in the visual novel was all of these terrorists going to Chris and Taiga's position. I think only like two... I think in the visual novel there was only like 2 more terrorists that were about to kill Taiga. But here we have a small battalion of them going after Taiga. So yeah, that's another interesting decision that the anime made. But yeah, again, overall, like I said, I am actually, you know, even though they did kind of rush through things, I wish they could have given some more breathing room in this episode, just so they can, because I feel like the hopelessness of the situation wasn't fully reflected in the anime episode as opposed to the visual novel. Because in the visual novel, like, the situation itself is very complicated. Because not only do we have Taiga, a member of the Sengoku family, you know, a very prestigious family in the Grisaia universe. Not only is she being held hostage by terrorists, but we also have her father who wants to nuke the entire place. We also have the terrorist who wants to release the virus and get a hold of the painting. And we also have we also had the whole strife in the Sengoku family because there's a faction that wants to keep Taiga alive, and there's also a faction that wants Taiga dead. And both factions were kind of in like a deadlock upon hearing the news of Taiga being held hostage. And that's why SIRS specifically ordered the Class A not to act. That's why SIRS specifically asked SWORD not to intervene for the time being. And I don't think that was accurately. I don't think that was paced, shown very well in the anime, or at least not as well in the visual novel. Because I remember in the visual novel, I mean, I was just going through scene after scene, wondering, you know, just feeling the hopelessness of the situation. Like, I was really wanting them to act soon. And you could just really feel how complicated the situation was in the visual novel. Also, I think a more breathing room would also highlight just how much of a scumbag Taiga's father was. But then again, I think this anime adaptation was for the... I think the anime adaptation was for the better in that front, because honestly, I don't think I could sit through... I don't think I could sit through very long of Taiga's father being a complete asshole. I could barely tolerate it in the visual novel. So yeah, maybe that's another thing the anime adaptation did better. But yeah, that dude was just so fucking irritating in the visual novel. I'm glad he's not that irritating in the anime. But yeah, again, other than that, honestly, overall, I am very pleased with how the anime adaptation handled the events so far. And I am so excited for what's about to happen in episode 3. But yeah, other than that, thank you guys for watching. Have a great day. Subscribe to my channel, follow me on Twitter, and I will see you guys next time.